Always have a support structure that you can rely on, having people that can always deliver, and at the very least, those that can show progress on a daily basis.
Kita adalah brand holder. Kita kena yakin dengan brand kita. So sebelum kita nak meyakinkan orang dengan brand kita, kita kena yakinkan diri kita dahulu. So macam mana? Ilmu, knowledge. Pergi belajar. Tak belajar, tak tahu. Saya buka syarikat saya sendiri sebab masa itu saya yakin masyarakat tak boleh bergerak tanpa motivasi.
புதுசா வித்தியாசமா நீங்க யோசிச்சு ஒரு மார்க்கெட்ல டிமாண்டா இருக்கிற ப்ராடக்ட்டை நீங்க கொண்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா பயனியராகவும் ஆகலாம். அதே சமயத்துல மக்கள் திருப்பி வந்து உங்கள்கிட்ட வாங்கிட்டு இருப்பாங்க.
把你的生意放上网络平台，我朋友是做网络卖衣服的生意，他的生意是不断的在增长。我起步的时候是跟去银行贷款，所以他说我的规模也是太小，所以他是不接受我的贷款的。有一天我上网寻找贷款，然后过后就找到 IMSME， 过后我去 click 进去申请表格。第二天 CGC 的有一个顾问打来跟我说，你可以尝试用 P2P 的平台，过后就成功了。
The great thing about this whole CGC ISME program is that it's no collateral and you can go for as little as 1,000 ringgit to as much as 5 million. I went online and went to the page, registered, logged in, and just keyed in my details. And from there, within a matter of days, things were already set in motion. So it's really that straightforward and that simple. I was able to get this in a matter of weeks. I think everyone can too.
IMSME ஃபண்ட் வந்து நாங்க வந்து அப்ளை பண்ணியிருந்தோம், எங்களுக்கு கிடைச்சிச்சு. அது மூலமா எங்க பிசினஸ் வந்து எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் பண்ணோம். 10% வந்து இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணோம் எங்க சேல்ஸை. இது மூலமா IMSME ஃபண்ட் வந்து ரொம்ப உதவியா இருந்துச்சு எங்களுக்கு.
Sebenarnya dalam business, fund is everything. You have fund, you can go bigger. You don't have fund, you cannot go anywhere. CGC banyak membantu saya untuk saya go and move further sebenarnya. Dan at the end, saya dah ada branch baru dekat Alustah selepas saya dapat dana daripada CGC. I have no fund problem at all after that. Jadi dengan IMSME memang banyak sangat ubah hidup saya dan banyak membantu mengembangkan bisnes saya.
感谢 IMSME 帮我的生意更上一层楼。
very good morning to all of you and welcome back to Star Media Group's Smart Retail Live Virtual Conference. I hope that you had a good night's sleep and I hope that you had a good morning and I also hope that you enjoyed the sessions yesterday. Let us know what your thoughts are about yesterday's program and we'd love to hear from you. Please type in the chat box below or in the comment section if you are tuning in for the first time and whether you are on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube or LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Myra Baiti and I am your host for this two-day conference. Just a brief breakdown on how we came to this particular event in conjunction with Star Media Group's 50th anniversary this year. And as a follow-up to the Digital X Data 2020 Live Virtual Conference, the Smart Retail Conference is a part of the Digital X Data 2021 Roadmap to Road to Malaysia 5.0 program that is dedicated to enabling digitally powered Malaysian businesses to accelerate growth in the new Malaysia 5.0 economy powered by disruptive technologies. And to kick off the Road to Malaysia 5.0 event series, the Smart Retail event program will take you on a two-day journey to discover what's in store for retail as the nation moves beyond MCO 2.0. The program revolves around key subjects such as women in retail, customer experience, online fraud and cybercrime, digital operations, and e-commerce and digital marketing. To learn more about the event agenda and speakers, you may scan the QR code that is located on the top right of your screen. It's over there. Or go to bit.ly/smartretailagenda. But most importantly, we hope you will learn more about digital transformation in the retail sector and how your business can transition from merely adapting and surviving to thriving and winning. All right, guys, we now would like to announce the prize draw winners of the session on yesterday's afternoon. The prize draw winners of the session of yesterday afternoon. And yes, you heard it right. For those who have just joined us, all you need to do is stay with us till the end of each session and you will stand a chance to win any of these cool prizes. So let's see who are some of the winners from yesterday afternoon. For the Skull Candy Jip Plus wireless earbuds, the winner is Syed Aiman. And for the Divu Macchiato Bluetooth speakers, the winner is Jeanette Lee. And Skull Candy Push-Through Wireless Earbuds, the winner is Thomas Lau. So congratulations to all the winners. Don't worry, our events crew will be contacting you separately at the end of the event at your registered email address or mobile number for the arrangement. Now, let's see what we have in store for you this morning. We will first be covering online fraud and cybercrime at this session. Our Terabyte partner Forta will be addressing how the e-commerce business is suffering from new user missed opportunity. Then our knowledge partner KPMG will be opening the digital operations session. And it will follow with an industry panel discussion which will be moderated by our knowledge partner Nielsen IQ. The panel will be joined by a lineup of senior technology and business leaders from Aeon Retail, Heineken Malaysia, and QSR brands. To learn more about the event agenda and speaker profiles, you may all scan the code. I keep telling you this because our speakers are really awesome. You should check them out. All right, we have a few quick housekeeping matters before we begin. Please be patient if you experience any technical or internet glitches. We do strive to provide top quality production for all our events, but some things are beyond our control. But if you do need assistance from us, don't worry. You may chat with us and our events crew, or you may also email us at events@thestar.com.my. Also, if you have any questions for our speakers, for your Zoom viewers, you may post it in the chat box. And for viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, you may post it in the comment section. Lastly, and most importantly, please engage, learn, and enjoy. In the past 1 year, online retailers are experiencing a surge of new shoppers, but these newcomers are 5 to 7 times more likely to be declined. It is therefore very critical for retailers to better understand the reasons and impact of these false declines. Our next speaker has more than 10 years of deep experience in payments and e-commerce. Nishta Narula is a seasoned strategic partnerships executive at Forta Asia Pacific. Prior to Forta, she was responsible for managing commercial relationships with top clients of PayPal in the Southeast region. Ladies and gentlemen, Nishta will be coming up next, but do stay tuned and we'll be back shortly.
morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining our session today. I really hope you are enjoying the Smart Retail Conference so far. The topic for our discussion today is New User Missed Opportunity, or as we call it, NUMO. Before I jump into agenda, let me take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Nishtha Narula. I am based in Singapore and I lead APAC strategic partnerships at Fota. Today, we are going to discuss what is new user missed opportunity, why should online retailers such as yourself care about it, what is driving NUMO, and how can e-commerce professionals and online retailers like yourself capture more customers and more revenue. So you have heard me say new user missed opportunity a few times. So what is it? As most of you are probably experiencing yourself, there is a surge in first-time online shoppers since COVID. Fota's data shows that in the first half of 2020, the new online buyers doubled versus the same period in 2019. New users typically come with high expectations. They are not just shopping for products. In fact, they are also evaluating online merchants to shop from, and hence first impressions really count. Any gap in expectation versus actual experience, whether it's because of friction in the journey or unwarranted decline at any point, can lead to increase in cart abandonment. In spite of this reality, online retailers often end up declining legitimate first-time buyers. In fact, our data shows that new consumers are declined at 5 to 7 times higher rate than returning customers. This should already raise red flags for online retailers. However, the problem is even more serious, as 40% of those declined new consumers will never return to that merchant site again. We often hear merchants spending significant resources, including marketing dollars, to drive traffic to their website, or stocking up on inventory, or getting their backend ready to fulfill their customer orders. However, all of this goes to waste when merchants end up declining that legitimate new shopper. So, when a new shopper is declined, you are not just at the risk of missing that first purchase, but you are also, the subsequent purchases from that one customer. On top of it, this also drives up your marketing and operation cost while lowering the efficiency. So what does this lead to? This basically means millions of dollars missed in potential revenue from these new customers. Let's take a few minutes to dive into what is NUMO. Why do online retailers end up missing revenue from new customers? There are two key reasons driving this behavior. Firstly, it is because of the way fraud is managed today. Most of the e-commerce players that we speak to are unable to identify good users from bad users. When a new user comes to a merchant's website, they don't have enough information about this customer to accurately determine whether this person can be trusted or not. Secondly, the problem arises due to use of inefficient fraud prevention tools that drive high friction to distinguish between good and bad customers. These tools or rule-based systems are often rigid or reactive and can make a new user appear like a fraudster. As I mentioned, online retailers don't always have the user data to make the right decision. Basically, you want to reject bad customers or fraudsters, but you don't want to reject good shoppers. So, what data is required to make an accurate decision? Well, it comprises of three distinct categories: purchasing behavior and history, non-transaction data, and past behavior. Let's look at each one of this in a little more detail. So the first one is behavior and interaction on other merchants' website. What's their typical behavior on those platforms? For example, is this customer used to browsing multiple items from different brands, reading customer reviews, comparing price, or do they typically know the product and the brand they want to buy and add it to their shopping cart directly. Second would be purchasing behavior and history. For example, what's the typical payment method they use? What's their average order value? What kind of items do they usually buy? Lastly, non-transaction behaviors like coupon usage or reward points or exchange of items. Of course, all these information won't be available to you as you are seeing this user for the first time on your platform. Hence, you need a partner who can connect the dots and create a more complete picture of the new users. A lot of merchants that we speak to often describe their current fraud strategy that looks something similar to what you see on the screen here. So if you focus on the middle portion of the slide, there is a legacy rule-based system that utilizes hard attributes like email ID, credit card, or shipping address to do a risk scoring. Sometimes merchants also use an external data enrichment tool like age of the email to gather additional insights, or they use a off-the-shelf machine learning model. Now, the problem with this traditional approach is fraudsters have become incredibly sophisticated. They are able to bypass these rudimentary rules fairly easily. The end result is you end up approving fraudsters while declining a lot of legitimate shoppers, ultimately leading to lower revenue or more and more orders being sent for manual review. According to a study done by AITE Group, online retailers can lose up to 75 times more revenue to false declines than they do due to fraud. Besides lost revenue, this approach also prevents you from scaling your operations, especially during peak times like holiday season, and can lead to increase in your chargeback and fraud rates. These challenges are further compounded when you consider other use cases like buy online, pick up in store, and policy abuse cases like promotion abuse, loyalty point abuse, etc. So now coming to the most important question. How can we solve this problem? What can we do to help retailers such as yourself capture more revenue from first-time users? You need a platform that empowers you to trust new customers and remove any friction across the customer journey that negatively impacts their overall experience with your brand. You need to provide your first-time shoppers with a smooth sign-up experience, allow them to log in seamlessly, and not reject them at the point of transaction. When you do this, customers will reward your brand with their loyalty and will return back to your website for frequent purchases. When we think about brands that do this exceptionally well, we think of Amazon with their seamless one-click purchase, or perhaps personalized content that gets delivered by brands like Spotify and Netflix. And when we think about commonalities between these brands and how they are able to deliver these experiences, the foundation of it is trust. They use data, machine learning, and automation to deliver a consumer experience based on a foundation of trust. So, the key to approving more users or building the foundation of trust is to identify legitimate shoppers from fraudsters. If you see the iceberg here, on the left-hand side, you see a new user. And on the right-hand side, there is a known fraudster. If you look at only the hard attributes, the new user appears like a known fraudster, whom you would have most likely blocked from your platform because their email IDs, their device ID, even their IP addresses are similar. So if you're using a rule-based system that solely relies on these hard attributes, you will most likely end up making a wrong decision when this new user appears on your platform. Hence, it is important that you move away from a superficial detection system to an in-depth analysis platform. When you use a more sophisticated platform like Photo, you can uncover the details beneath the tip of the iceberg and realize that new user is completely different from the known fraudster. Their shopping behavior, clicking heat map, pages visited, time spent on the website, all of it is totally different. Hence, when you understand the full picture and similarities or dissimilarities better, you can make better approve or decline decisions. So, how does Porter works? Instead of relying on those restrictive fraud rules and depending solely on the static data points that we talked about in the previous slide, Porter is proactively analyzing the customer the second they land on your website or on your mobile app. We analyze more than 6,000 data points about the customer in real time, comprising of device information, behavioral data, and cyber intelligence data. As a result, Porter is able to evaluate trustworthiness at every point across the customer journey, not just at checkout. Also, we are able to provide 100% real-time approve or decline decisions in under 1 second. In certain cases, we also trigger multi-factor authentication or provide a custom response that's tailored specifically to your business. All of this helps you to understand and trust your first-time shopper better. Here is a cool video of how Photo platform works.
As businesses grow and fraud evolves, traditional fraud checks fall short. So protection is layered on, but no tool has the full picture. This results in good customers getting declined, and they may not come back. To make the right calls, you need a single identity-based platform. With Forter, you know whether each customer can be trusted in under a second. Combining data from our global merchant network with fraud analytics and expertise, our fully automated platform is tailored to your business and delivers industry-leading accuracy, not only at checkout, but at any touch point. Approve more shoppers, deliver new experiences, and adapt without risk, no matter how your business and the world changes.
So what can Photo provide in terms of ROI? On an average, Photo is able to deliver up to 10% increase in top-line revenue by helping you approve more legitimate shoppers. Also, we know that while it's critical to approve more customers, it's equally important to keep your fraud losses and operational costs low. Hence, we also enable up to 90% reduction in chargebacks and up to 50% reduction in operational expenses like manual review cost. On top of this, Photo also provides online retailers access to 850 million unique digital identities that we have in our ecosystem. So we empower you with a global network to help you make better approve or decline decisions. Now, I would like to share a couple of case studies with you. First one is of a Chinese fashion e-commerce giant selling to more than 100 countries globally. Originally, they were working with a legacy rule-based system, but they were keen to improve their approval rates and lower their chargeback rates. Hence, they came to Photo, and we were able to perform better and more accurately than their previous fraud engine. We delivered 72% improvement in their chargeback rate and improved their approval rate by 81%. We were also able to scale and handle all their peak season volume, especially around 11/11, 12/12, Black Friday and Christmas period. Another important factor for this Chinese merchant was local support, and we provided them implementation and customer success support in Mandarin language. The other case study I have is of a beauty and e-commerce merchant. They are a leading omni-channel brand operating across more than 50 countries globally, including Malaysia. They were facing two key challenges. Manual review was slowing their decisioning, and they were not able to fulfill their customer orders instantaneously. Secondly, their decline rate was pretty high, while their chargeback rate was also climbing. When they started using Photo, we were able to reduce their manual reviews by 80%, hence speeding their decision-making process. They could fulfill their customer orders instantaneously, leading to a better customer experience. Photo also reduced their chargeback rate by 90% while reducing their declines by 75%. This overall led to a revenue uplift of $10 million. Also, when they started using Photo, we were able to reduce their manual review orders by 80%. So let's see a video of what Photo customers have to say about us.
When the customer has to put their credit card across the line, it's incredibly important that they trust the system they're using, and it's incredibly important that we trust the customer.
The retailer doesn't have trust in what we are sending them or the technology that we are using. They have the right to go work with somebody else. So maintaining that trust is super important.
Ford has definitely helped my day-to-day life here at Delivery. We don't have to have a team that's dedicated to determining whether or not someone's actually fraudulent. Ford simply gives us a decision and then we just process it.
The network is great to be able to tap into because not only is Ford checking our own transactions, but they're comparing it against the entire network.
Ford can paint the holistic picture through their personas they put together to really tie that information together. So I think they have a holistic picture that the providers don't have today.
Fraud prevention done the right way enables safe growth. Being able to extend our existing product base and offer them safely in markets that we had previously been a bit worried about is not a problem.
Our approval rate has gone up to 98.9%. So this pretty much means all of our genuine customers are going straight through the system and only the fraudsters are getting caught.
So here are some of the leading global and regional brands that we closely work with. As you can see, these brands are spread across different verticals and different geographies. So this brings me to the end of our presentation today. I really hope you found the session useful and actionable. I think we have time for some questions, so I would love to take some audience questions here. Thank you.
Oh, do I continue talking? Oh, hi Nishna. Where are you now?
Hi Myra, I'm in Singapore office.
Oh wow, thank you for dialing in with us. Okay, cool. You need to change my mic, I think. Hold on. Can you hear me clearly on your end?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, cool. Let me just try with another mic. Testing.
Yeah. Good.
Oh, okay, sorry, it's on our end then. The volume. Sorry, Nishta. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Myra. Speaking to you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, sorry for this short disruption. We actually have a few questions for Nishta. We're now here. You can see my face clearly. You can hear me clearly. So we have a few questions that we have today for Nishta. First of all, Nishta, how are you? Nishta, can you hear me? Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties, but that's no issue. I personally did enjoy Forte's presentation. If you have any opinions, you have any questions, do drop it down in the comment section below, and then we will address it at a later time. I have my mic now. So, hi, Nishta, can you hear me?
Yes, Mara, I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So our first question for you is your e-commerce business suffering from new user missed opportunity or NUMO?
He just covered this in presentation.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. So the question is, how is Forter different from a legacy rule-based system?
That's a good question, Mara. Yeah, thank you for asking. So, Fortune is very different from a rule-based system. The way our platform works, the way we look at data, and how we make decisions are completely different. Probably I can highlight key three, four differences. First would be Fortune platform is 100% automated and driven by machine learning models, and we do not provide scores. Instead, we provide decisions in real time. Whereas the rule-based systems that we were referring to, they are not 100% automated. And instead they provide decisions, provide scores, which are not very accurate. Then the second key difference would be our identity linking technology, which basically enables us to automatically find hidden links between accounts, devices, and digital personas. It also helps us detect attacks that have occurred elsewhere and isolate them before they are spread to other online retailers. Also, Photo not only protects a customer at the point of checkout, but we also protect the entire customer journey at multiple touch points. So, for example, at the point of sign up, login, buy online, pick up in store, buy online, return in store, all the new use cases that we see, we are able to protect the customer across all of these touch points. And then lastly, our platform is powered by the largest network of more than 800 million unique identities. So we bring the power of our network to our online retailers. I hope that answers the question that was asked.
Yeah,
Thank you. And
actually,
actually, I feel very calm with that. I think there's been a rising worry about data protection, and I think it's good that you protect your the data from end to end. We do also have another question for you.
Sure.
How strong is Forte in the region?
Okay, that's another good one. So Forte has a strong footprint in APAC region, and that's one of our key strengths. So we have invested in robust local resources because we believe in providing tailor-made solution to our customers and partners. So on the ground, the team consists of solution consultants, analysts, customer success, implementation, and partnerships team. So we have offices in Singapore, where I'm based. We have offices in Sydney and Shanghai also. And we are opening our Japan office tomorrow. Everyone in our team has deep payments background and e-commerce background. So we are a pretty strong team. And
nice.
Yeah, so this is in terms of this is in terms of our customer base, in terms of our team. But I also just wanted to highlight our customer base in this region, which is also very strong. So during my presentation, you would have seen that I had shared one case study from China. Also, we have many more customers in key markets like China, Southeast Asia, Australia, Korea. And these are spread across different industries like apparel, electronics, furniture, marketplaces, buy now, pay later platforms. So yeah, so we have strong customer base and strong team in APAC region.
Thank you. And also congratulations on opening the new Japan office.
Thank you.
Sorry, we have two more questions for you. So okay, this is an interesting one. Does Forte also work with PSPs or e-wallets?
So yeah, the short answer is yes, we do. So besides working with merchants directly, we also work with PSPs or payment service providers. We work with e-wallets, we work with crypto platforms, buy now later platforms. So Forte's mission is to power an ecosystem of trust for consumers, merchants, banks, and payment providers. So we work with all the players involved in this ecosystem. And I would just like to highlight here the way PSPs typically manage fraud. So PSPs have their usually have their own rule-based system, or they apply 3DS for every transaction to manage fraud. And over a period of time, they realized that it's inherently problematic approach, especially when processing payments for high-risk verticals or for high-dollar volumes, because they end up reducing the approval rate of their merchants. It negatively impacts their merchants' approval rates. So that's why PSPs, they work with us, they like Fortis tailored approach based on machine learning. Because we are able to evaluate customer behind each transaction, and we are able to treat that individual customer differently. So also just one last thing I would like to highlight here is that our solution is payment method agnostic, and we don't recommend one method or processor over another. We work with all of them.
All right, wonderful. Oh, that's really cool. So I guess your experience with PayPal really did come in handy, with your current position.
Absolutely. So payments and fraud, they go hand in hand. So I'm fortunate that I have that payments background, which really helps me understand fraud better.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I remember. This is just a little tidbit, because since we're talking, I remember working for a payment service provider, and I remember I was that salesperson that would have to go through all of the the clients to approve, and there are a lot of situations in which they can't. So it's great that this is new technology that can help tailor this that can provide this service to them. So thank you. And we also have another question for you. So you spoke about more than 800 million unique digital identities in your system. Can you share this data with us?
Actually, that's a very important question. I get this question all the time. So, Fortis platform, we are uniquely architectured with security and privacy as our priority. So, we use the power of our network, the 800 million unique digital identities that you were mentioning, to inform our online retailers of our decision about whether a particular customer can be trusted or not. However, any customer or merchant data is logically separated in our system, and the transaction records are never shared nor available to other clients. So, if I can summarize, online retailers, they do benefit from being part of our network by receiving highly accurate approved decline decisions because of these 800 million unique identities. However, individual customer or transaction data is never shared.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nishta, for your presentation. I've enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, thank you. She's dialing in all the way from Singapore, guys. So for everyone, all of you guys there, just like give a thumbs up in the comment section or something to say hi to Nishta and things. So bye, Nishta. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for everybody who joined today. I hope we covered all your questions. But if you have any further questions, you can reach out to me at nishta.narula@forta.com. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And
the conference, I am about to sign out, and we're about to go
okay.
To
Shall I drop off?
Oh, hi Nishta. Hi Nishta. Oh. Okay, no worries. It's okay. So remember those little internet clings that I mentioned earlier. This is one of those moments where we hope that you can forgive us and thank and continue. So anyway, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. I'm going to be back soon to introduce the next star, or should I just introduce the next star now? No? All right, cool. In that case, you're gonna have just a while, maybe grab some water, grab a short snack, and then come back, and then I'll see you soon. I hope you enjoyed your water. I know I did. Our next speaker explores some of the latest trends he sees across China and the rest of the ASEAN region. Dialing in from Hong Kong, Anson Bailey will share with us some of the latest technologies and innovations that we can expect to see in the retail arena over the weeks and months ahead. Anson joined KPMG in Hong Kong in 1999. He is a part of KPMG's Regional Consumer and Retail Practice Leadership Team and a member of the Global Technology Innovation Center. Ladies and gentlemen, Anson will be coming up next. Please stay tuned and we will be back shortly.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to you. Great to be part of the Smart Retail virtual conference this week. My name's Anson Bailey. I am the head of consumer and retail for Asia Pacific for KPMG. So it's great to be with you. And I really wanted to share with you some of my thoughts around what we see in the market. And my presentation is on the rise of tech and innovation in a new digital retail era. So at KPMG, just very briefly, last summer, in the height of COVID-19, we were really looking at the changing consumer behaviors. We embarked on a series of surveys covering 75,000 global consumers around the world, in Europe, in the Americas, and across Asia Pacific. And we did that over a 4-month period over the summer. We have got lots of great insights to share with everybody. The QR codes are on the page. But the 4 trends that I just wanted to mention to everybody here today is that, of course, there is an economic impact with COVID-19, but we certainly saw the rise of digital. And I think it's fair to say that we have seen an acceleration of everything digital in the last 12 months. Equally, consumers are now watching the brands very carefully, and there has been, I think, an erosion of trust. You know, the consumers are watching you and they're asking questions like, are you actually walking the talk? You know, do they really believe in what you're doing? And also, home is the new hub. That was definitely something that we heard a lot about. So we're in this new normal today, and we're going to see different speeds emerge. We, of course, have seen the rise of live streaming. I'm going to come back to that, but the likes of TikTok with 800 million monthly active users, those numbers are amazing. Of course, international travel is pretty much ground to a halt, but in certain places like China, it continues. And back in the Golden Week holidays in October, we saw 637 million domestic trips across China. Equally, governments here in Asia Pacific, they are discussing about travel zones, travel bubbles, travel passes. So over the next few months, I think we are going to see the emergence of short haul returning. And retailers themselves now are absolutely driving new tech and new innovation with a particular focus on customer, but with the use of AI and VR and AR, and of course data. Do we understand all of that customer data and new technologies like 5G? Equally, retail sales, e-commerce in China and the rest of the region, they are continuing. And I do think we are going to see this shifting trend of the rise of those Chinese consumers, as well as the rise of those ASEAN consumers in the months ahead. Equally, we are now going to have to compete in this mobile first world. I mentioned already that COVID-19 has accelerated everything digitally, and we can see, of course, in places like China, internet users are at all-time high. Equally, platforms are growing. We're seeing the rise of the platform economy. 2.5 billion people are using Alipay and Tencent. Equally, mobile payments across China, smartphone. So new trends and developments, definitely going to see retail e-commerce sales growth worldwide. And I think the interesting thing here is if we look at Asia Pacific, it actually has grown the smallest, 15.5%. Now, I think there's a couple of reasons behind that. One, of course, is China is already on steroids. It's already going gangbusters in this new retail commerce environment. But it also tells me that there's a huge potential in the months and the years ahead. Equally, we're seeing shopping festivals that are going to continue to gain momentum. We hear a lot, of course, about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but here in Asia, we also, of course, got really major shopping festivals like Singles Day, 11/11. And if we look at Singles Day, 11/11, we saw last year GMV almost doubled, 85.6%. 250,000 brands participated. And a lot of the big international brands were also winners as well. And I spoke to the L'Oreal team, and they were telling me that over 50% of their business now is already online across China. Tech drivers for 2021. Well, you know, obviously, we've been talking a lot about millennials, but the next generation coming up, of course, is the Gen Zs. I have a teenage son. He is absolutely a digital native. And I'm sure anybody else with teenage kids will tell you that they are all digital natives. And of course, they sleep with their mobile phones. But I think the interesting thing is, of course, in places like China, we've got hundreds of millions of millennials. But what's interesting is this next generation, 170 million Gen Z consumers. And that mirror is going to continue across the rest of Asia. We're going to see the rise of these Gen Zs. And of course, as we know with the Gen Zs, they have a growing fondness for live streaming. So that's definitely something that we see all of our clients now having to focus in on. Equally, if we want to talk about some of the retail tech and innovation, we're going to see the rise of bots. Meet one of the, meet Rice Robotics from out of Hong Kong. And they have a number of robots in terms of concierge service, but also in terms of cleaning and providing disinfecting those public and retail areas as well. So we're going to continue to see automation rise across that retail space. Equally, unmanned automated retail stores. We heard a lot about the Amazon Go stores in the last couple of years, but equally across the region, I think we can see more of these automated stores emerge. Equally, we're going to see retail product manufacturing that's going to be changed by the likes of digital twin simulations. And again, I think this is quite a new area, but in smart cities, we're already seeing all of these digital twins emerge. So we can expect to see more of that in the future. Equally, I talked a little bit about earlier on about augmented reality as well, of course, as virtual reality. We are going to have those digital avatars, the digital try-on, the online virtual showrooms. All of this technology right now is being commercialized. I also just want to talk about, just for a moment, about travel retail as well, because I think a big question is, are we going to see people traveling between Kuala Lumpur and Bangkok and Hong Kong and Singapore and Shanghai and those other Asian cities? I do believe that that short-haul travel will start to return in the summer, and hopefully we'll be able to physically travel a little bit more. But of course, in China, they've not been stopping, and they've also been looking at developing the likes of Hainan Island. And, you know, now that has become a major bright spot in terms of everything around travel retail. They've tripled the allowances in duty-free from 30,000 renminbi to 100,000 renminbi. And then, of course, the top travel destinations across China includes Hainan Island as well. I also just want to talk a little bit about some of the KPMG papers that we have been putting out in the last few months. We did a very interesting paper looking at the future of sourcing, the future of supply chains. And I think what we are going to see, of course, is organizations now need to use and leverage all of this new digital technology. That's going to be really, really important. So AI and blockchain, all of those areas now, they are going to have an impact on all of our supply chains. Equally, we're going to see these new global digital supply chain services hubs emerge. Hong Kong is actually going to be one of them, but what we are seeing is we're going to see more regionalization. We're going to see more diversification. So manufacturing is not just in China anymore, but it will be across ASEAN and South Asia. We are going to see a lot more of those fashion brands looking at having a more distributed model moving forward. Equally, the rise of things like ESG reporting and sustainability, they're going to be very hot. And equally, I just want to talk a little bit about RCEP. This is the new trade agreement that was signed off in November 15, 2020 across the 10 ASEAN bloc countries, along with Japan, South Korea, China, as well as Australia and New Zealand. It's the creation of a new free trade zone, which has or encompasses a third of the world's population. It has 29% global GDP right now, but that's going to rise to nearly 50% by 2030. We are going to see the harmonization of these supply chains. We are going to see the elimination of a range of tariffs on imports over the next few years. And certainly areas such as e-commerce, the movement of people, these are really going to be big. And again, these are happening right now, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take us the next few years, but some really exciting developments ahead. Equally, when I'm talking to my retail clients, there's a lot of the brands, a lot of the retailers that are talking about their plans to have a net zero commitment in the future. They really want to reach those net zero supply chains, simplifying those supply chains, and how can they minimize their footprint. These are all things that we're going to have to be thinking about in the future. And as I said, we are going to see a more sustainable supply chain as well in the future. Track and traceability, that's another big area that we are going to see. And with new technology like AI and blockchain, that's really going to help us a lot in the months and years ahead. Equally, reimagining those supply chains. At KPMG, we have a team that's looking at the origins. We're looking at the track and traceability of all of those food products, for example, products in general. Food safety is going to be really paramount in the future, and your consumers are going to demand more transparency across their supply chains as well. Something else I just want to mention to everybody is that we are going to see some really interesting developments around, as I said, things like AI. And at KPMG, we've been partnering with our good friends at Google and Google Cloud to look at these future smarter digital cities. And just really wanted to share with you a couple of things that, that we've seen, because Google commissioned KPMG to really look at this research around, AI for everyone. What does it mean from a business perspective, but also from a consumer perspective as well? And I think the key message is that residents are actually very positive about AI. It's actually on the readiness index, it's at 50 marks. And if we look at the equally for businesses as well, business is coming in at 56, and businesses are equally optimistic and willing to invest in areas such as AI. And, again, for example, here in Hong Kong, those businesses believe AI is beneficial because it can help them to improve quality, efficiency, optimization, and also more importantly, it can really help them to improve their customer experience in the future. And we're going to see, I think, a very big focus on everything around customers and following those customers on their journeys. Equally, when we look at the different sectors, finance are in the lead in terms of AI readiness, retail is at the back, but I'm very confident that retail will catch up in the months ahead. And our friends at Google were also looking at the data, a lot of that Google data as well, in terms of shoppers making more purchases online. And if you look at things like food and groceries before COVID-19, 21%, during COVID-19, 60%. If you look at the personal care, it went from 27% to 49%. And that story is across all of the sectors. So we are now seeing the flight to digital. We are seeing a lot of those consumers now getting more comfortable with the move to digital. And we've seen a massive surge in those pure play e-commerce ecosystems. Obviously, in places like Hong Kong TV Mall have seen a massive uptick in the grocery online retailing. But if you look at Lazada, if you look at Shopee, Amazon, and all of the other players, they've all seen a very healthy increase in business. But it's not just a bed of roses. It's not all a bed of roses. There's a lot of challenges that have emerged. And I can certainly see a lot of issues around supply chain and logistics disruption. That's going to continue. Inventory, restocking delays, longer delivery wait times. You know, these are all things that we need to sort out if we want to really keep e-commerce at the top of mind. Now, I did want to mention to everybody that at KPMG, we have been very busy. We've been doing a lot of these global surveys. I mentioned consumers in the new reality with literally over 75,000 global consumers. But we've also just put out a brand new piece of thought leadership looking at the future of retail. And again, the QR codes are there. Please feel free to check them out. But in short, what I wanted to share with you is the word retail in the future is likely to become redundant. And we think it's going to be replaced by this term of consumer commerce. And we see probably around 7 types of business models that are going to emerge as the winners going forward. Obviously, it's no surprise that platform businesses are going to be the go-to-market channels for not just B2C, but also for B2B markets. Equally, those multinational retailers, they're going to transform into business platforms as well, and we can expect perhaps more M&A in that space. National heroes from around the region, they're going to focus on those cross-border partnerships to create synergies and scales. Of course, the value-based retailers, we commonly refer to them as the discounters. They are going to evolve their entire online proposition as well. Smaller country-focused brands, excuse me, there is, I think, a real need for localization. And I think we are going to see a lot more consumers looking at those local brands as well. Talking about the category specialists and, of course, those independent mutuals as well. Now, I just want to come back because our friends at Google have also been very busy. And we did the AI for Everyone adoption report with the Google team. But they've also been working on a whole bunch of other research using some of the latest Google data. And this is from their Google Economy Southeast Asia report for 2020. And I just want to make a point here that new users are coming online at a very quick pace. Last year, 40 million new internet users were added alone. Those numbers are not going down. They are increasing every single day. Equally, the internet economy is going to emerge ever stronger. And we're going to see an unprecedented move towards digital services. We are going to see this internet economy hitting $100 billion. We're going to see more and more investment in technology. A lot of my big clients, the big corporate clients, as well as the smaller SMEs now are starting to invest more in technology. And why is that? It's because they don't want to get left behind. They don't want to see this digital divide emerge, because we are going to see companies that don't do this, they are going to get left behind. So adoption, acceptance, and user hyper accelerated for both the consumers as well as the SMEs. And of course, we're going to continue to see very healthy market competition. It's not just the big guys. We are already seeing the emergence of platforms in Malaysia and Singapore and Indonesia and Thailand, across the whole of Southeast Asia as well. Now, just in my closing remarks, I just wanted to mention to everybody that KPMG continues to put out a lot of our own research and learnings from the market, both from a global perspective as well as a regional perspective. I just wanted to let you know that we are also teaming up with our friends at Inside Retail, which is the daily online retail magazine. But we are going to be working and supporting Inside Retail on their next Asian Retail Outlook 2021 report, exploring a lot of those retail trends. We've in fact already been working with Inside Retail on their Australian Retail Outlook report for 2021. And the launch date for that is at the end of May. Equally, we're also going to be doing a new future of digital retail paper, for example, here in Hong Kong, and looking at the Greater Bay Area as we see the rise of those more digitally savvy, tech savvy and digitally minded consumers as well. So again, check out those reports. We'll be more than happy to, of course, share all of that material with you. So ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, because I promised to make sure we keep the time under control for you this morning. But in conclusion, perhaps 5 areas I just want to remind everybody about. Number 1, emerging technologies are here. They are being commercialized right now. AI and blockchain, that is going to revolutionize everything around the supply chains, those global supply chains. 3D virtual technology, AR, VR, they are here. So again, make use of them. Innovation is going to be critical for the future, but we have to focus on talent development. A lot of my clients are telling me that they also need to upskill and reskill their current workforce. They've got to ensure they equip them with those new digital AI and analytics skills moving forward. Equally, the rise of purpose. This is interesting, I think, for all of us, because we are going to see a greater focus on ESG and sustainability. We've heard a lot of things around climate change and the need to go to net zero, the need for us to decarbonize all of our supply chains. And the consumers are really going to be watching you. Your investors are going to be watching you. The media are going to be watching you, just like Star Media Group. You know, everybody now is paying attention to this area. We also need to have a new mindset from a customer point of view, right? We have to follow them on their journeys. We have to get ready for this increased transparency. And as I said, you have to get ready for these changing consumer behaviors, because this is the new normal and we are not going to go back to the old normal. And finally, as I mentioned, we're going to see this the shifting focus to the Chinese and ASEAN markets. And we've already seen this speed of change with more digitally minded consumers, especially those young millennials, especially the growing number of the Gen Zs. They are here. This is the new normal. So you've got to think customer as well. You've got to be customer centric. So ladies and gentlemen, these are some of my key points. It really has been a pleasure to talk to you at this Smart Retail virtual conference this morning. I'd like to thank the Star Media Group for putting on an excellent event. Feel free to check out our various KPMG reports. And equally, if you want to talk to any of our professionals, our team at KPMG Malaysia, they are only too happy to sit down and talk with you about all of these issues around digital transformation, ESG sustainability, and of course, new retail tech innovation and areas such as cybersecurity. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, thank you all very much. Great to be with you. Stay safe and stay well, and enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much, Anson. I want to download some of those reports myself. We have some good news for you. We are slightly ahead of time, so you have 5 minutes to relax, chill out. It's been a very informative morning, so if you need coffee, grab that, or grab tea if you have gastric like me. And I'll see you back here at 10:55, and we will be closing the digital operations session with an industry panel discussion. If you're interested to find out more about the speakers, you can scan the QR code up there or go to bit.ly/smart retail agenda. So I'll see you guys after your coffee at 10:55. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your coffee because we will soon be closing the digital operations session with an industry panel discussion joined by a powerful lineup of senior technology and business leaders. This panel session will explore the opportunities and challenges brought about by digital transformation and how the retail sector can embrace and adapt to digital transformation in a sustainable way. Our first guest is Chief Executive Officer of Aeon Retail, Shafi'i Shamsuddin, is also currently serving as Deputy President of Malaysian Retailers Association. During Shafi'i's previous 6.5 years tenure with Trans Retail Indonesia, Transmart, it has grown the number of stores from 83 to 130 stores with major improvement in profitability. As a digital technology director, our next guest drives the digital transformation in Heineken Malaysia's journey to become the best connected brewer. Janina Vrieskop comes from Heineken Netherlands, where her key milestones include kickstarting individualized data-driven marketing. Our third guest is CK Chong, the Group CIO of QSR Brands. CK drives the digital acceleration of QSR's two iconic brands, KFC and Pizza Hut. CK's passion is always challenging the status quo, capitalizing on digital innovations to enhance customer experience, improve operational efficiencies, and optimize supply chain. Lastly, but not least, our panel moderator, Mr. Punit Singh, who is the leader of Nielsen Operations Center of the East Zone, which comprises of 2 hub offices located in Malaysia and in India. Punit is responsible for building and transforming Nielsen operations for the company's Connect business, which focuses on retail and consumer panel it focuses on retail and consumer panel measurement in Asia Pacific, Africa, Middle East, and Canada. This is definitely going to be a great tech-infused panel discussion and not to be missed. The panel is now getting ready, so please stay tuned and we will be back shortly.
Good morning, everyone. So let's get started. COVID-19 pandemic was a moment of reckoning for many businesses and retailers and brought about a lot of challenges. How digitally ready was your organization to handle some of these challenges? Let's start with Mr. Shafi.
Thank you very much, Punit. First of all, whenever we speak about digital transformation and readiness, I always remind myself that we need to look at it from 3 angles. 1, we need to look at the business concepts and models. 2, technology, and 3, people. Now, if you ask me, are we ready at that time? Well, first of all, the business concept has always been focused on the past models, brick and mortar retail. So obviously, we were not ready. 2, technology. I guess I have to tell the truth that we were not ready as well. And 3, the people. Now, normally I would say that the people is the most important assets of our organizations. And I must say that because of COVID, the most ready was our people. So you take 1 out of 3, I would say that we are only 30% ready. Thank you.
What about you, Yunina?
But when COVID hit us, it turns out that we were more ready than we thought. Our technology was able to hold us all, keep the supply chain running with just bare minimum of people. Everyone was able to work from home. We had to speed up on some connections and stuff, but it wasn't really too good. So I was really proud of the team as well. And then we come with the people part. And if you talk about digital knowledge, I think limited, right? But the ability to change, to be open for change, there was, I think, the most surprising part of the organization. Is that actually everyone was open to bet, to win this. So we started squads, an agile way of working, without ever working agile before. So for us, this actually was a very big start. And one of the key things that we were fighting for these 2 years is actually keeping our e-commerce. And this was a blessing in disguise at the moment as well. So the 3 elements, and I could say yes. Now I can say yes.
CK? Yeah, I think very good question, Puneet. In fact, from a QSR brand perspective, we have been operating both KFC and Pizza Hut brands for the country for more than 30 years now. And being the leader in the QSR space, we were very fortunate in the sense that we have been serving our customer through our e-commerce platform as well. Yeah, we have our KFC mobile app, Pizza Hut mobile app. Customer is already engaging our brands digitally. Yeah, but prior to COVID-19, we were trending at a lower teens kind of percentage in terms of the total sales contribution through the digital channel. But having said that, we do have challenges when COVID-19 first hit the country, yeah, back then in March 2020. Challenges in the context of our coverage and our capacity. Yeah, for instance, in terms of the quick service business, we are serving our customer through the entire ecosystem. Yeah, from our e-commerce platform all the way to our kitchen, our restaurant, and our delivery fleet. Yeah, so when COVID-19 first hit us, yeah, no doubt our digital front end is ready, our e-commerce store is ready. However, we do have a severe what I call challenges when it comes to capacity. For example, we do face challenges in terms of having adequate number of delivery personnel to deliver product to our customer. In terms of coverage, for example, during the onset of the COVID-19 last year, in KFC, we have 740 plus stores. Only like 1/3 of our restaurant is equipped with delivery capabilities. So we do have severe challenges when it comes to coverage and capacity in that space. Yeah. Thanks. Yanina, who owns the digital transformation in your organization, and who sets the agenda?
That's always an important question, I think. Yeah. Of course, I'm hired to come here to steer the digital transformation, and it turns out I'm not that needed, actually, right? And that's also mainly because it's steered by us as an MT. It's not just me. And for me, that's the key of a digital transformation, right? If one person starts driving it and it's not on the board agenda, so it's not part of the strategy, it's not going to happen. And for us, it's one of the 5 pillars of our strategy. Yeah.
Okay. So in the context of QSR, I work in conjunction with my leadership team. For example, my managing director, Mr. Nacho Cano, he set a vision for the company. We need to transition from an analog company to a digital company. And then he's setting now a vision for the company. How can we transform QSR brand into a digital company that sells food? And that's actually create a whole spectrum of digital design conversation within the organization. I work very closely with my brand leadership as well in terms of our COO, in terms of our CMO, in terms of laying a digital roadmap to really help the brand to transform and to actually interact with our customer in a very digital manner. And that's how we work together in driving the digital journey. Apart from that, on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, in fact, yeah, I, for example, together with my technology leadership team, always sit down and engage our, let's say, KFC leadership team. In the forum, we call it the Tech Talk. Yeah, in that monthly Tech Talk meeting, we do nothing but just talk about digital. Yeah, what are the new technology in the market that we can actually bring to our brand to engage our customer better? How can we, for example, look at all the new digital element, look at our competition watch, how are they using digital to really compete in the market space and things like that. That's how we really drive a lot of digital innovation through that senior leadership forum. Yeah, and that's how we do it. SS?
Well, as for me, people has always been the key driver of any transformation. When we look at what happened in COVID at that time, most of us were actually shocked by the speed of change. Take an example. When we wanted to address points of supply, we had very many examples, be it eggs, the commodities, or bread. Customers are asking, where are the supply? At that time, we had to make some choices to go down to the ground and say, if these are the demand from the customers and we don't have answers immediately, so we need to find answers and communicate with them. Now, which medium are we going to use? Are we going to use a printout? Are you going to use a Facebook or which ones? And I must admit that at that time, we don't have that agility, like what Nina has said, that we need to build that. But it was on the go, right? So we had no other options except to be on the ground. And so at that time, we gave an examples, and with the team, we went down and we talked live to the Facebook and social media. For example, we are saying that you're expecting these eggs to be delivered to our stores. You don't have it yet because it is already delivered in our distribution center. So I went myself with the team to the distribution center, show it live, and said, this is where your stocks are. You're going to receive it soon. Be patient, you're going to receive it, and you're going to be delivered to our stores, and that's where you're going to get it. So my point is, we need to build the awareness of this transformation, not only internally to our stakeholders, which I agree with our two panel here, that our team would be actually owning the digital transformation, but as well as the external stakeholders, which are the customers and our partners here, as well as our government agencies needs to work together as one. So who owns it? All of us owns it, I believe. And who sets the agenda? I believe it's a collaborative mode that we need to build this agenda.
Thank you. CK, what has been your single biggest challenge in driving digital transformation in your organization? And how did you overcome it?
Very interesting question, Puneet. In fact, top in my list, the challenges that we face in terms of digital transformation will be to acquire the right and the new technology talent into the organization. Yeah, big technology buzzword today, things like AI, things like big data, things like MarTech or marketing technology. These are the solutions that really resonate very well with our QSR segment of the retail. Yeah, and recruiting this talent is very, very difficult in Malaysia. Yeah, like for example, last 2 years I've the privilege to visit the data city of Europe, Edinburgh, and also I've spent some time with quite a number of my CIO colleagues in the market in the visit to Shenzhen in China. Looking at China, looking at those data city of Europe like Edinburgh, the number of talent that they're created in the market is amazing. Yeah, like my counterpart in China, Yum China, they have got like over like 30 data scientists within the technology team, and in Malaysia, recruiting even one is very, very like, sometimes could be a science fiction kind of task, yeah. I mean, putting joke aside, I think my point is recruiting the right talent to really fuel the digital transformation journey of the organization. It's a real challenge, yeah. So strategy that we're putting in place is to work in partnership with our tech partner, from overseas, from India, from US, for example. So those are the interim steps that we are working on. Hopefully in the longer term, the University of Malaysia, be it public or private, they'll be able to churn out more and more talent that really resonate well with the industry. And hopefully the relevant government agency, be it Ministry of Education, MDEC, for example, can really step up to help to push and create more talent for the markets in the country. Yeah, and that's my take. Yeah.
Nina?
For us, it was more the adapting to the speed of change, where you just mentioned, and there comes data, right? Because suddenly, where we always strive for perfection and go with a big bang, we had to adapt on continuous improvement, not knowing what the next truth would be, because the truth suddenly changed, right? And then you need to enable your data, and you need to be able to adjust to it. That was the challenge. It was not undoable. So we learned a lot, and there's a lot to stay. So our reality changed. Yeah, it was good.
SS?
Well, I have a lot. Yeah. I don't know how much time we have, but tell me to stop if you think I'm talking too much, right? One biggest. So that means it has to be the balancing of the current talents that we have, and how do we bring in new talents? So in that aspect, if you look at it, we can have an easy choice. We are brick and mortar retail, and we can say, let's close all the stores so that we don't make losses anymore, and bring in new staffs and say, let's do the e-commerce, the big E or the small e. We'll discuss about that later, Puneet. Now, when we choose, if we were to choose that route, then how are we going to think about the employment of the people? Where are they going to be? So that actually became a challenge to us, because we said we just don't want to have our profitability intact, but we need to think about how our staff who have been working with us for 30 years, how are we going to balance that? Were they at fault that they were not trained? They were not open up their vision to see actually digital is not just e-commerce, right? I mean, all of us know that, but it's the lifestyle that we need to inbuild in them. So that actually is our biggest challenge, and going to bringing in the new teams. Do we bring the younger ones only? Do we bring the industry experts in terms of e-commerce, or is it a mix? So that became our challenge in bringing them. We were very fortunate because we were able to bring in different talent industry experts. And here we are actually moving forward in blending together with the current team as well as the new ones. That, if you ask me, only one biggest, I would say that.
So really the theme is the shift in talent need. How do you acquire that talent, and how do you manage the entire change management process across the organization? Next one is really an interesting question, a burning question on future of work. And there are several thoughts. Different organizations have set precedents by taking a bold call. What I want to hear, starting with SS, your thoughts on how do you envision future of work? Is it, in the new normal post-COVID scenario, is it continues to be fully work from home, or the model that we operate today, or it goes back to the normal model, or somewhere in between? What's your thought?
Yeah, we just got the information that by 1st April, we will be able to start back and resume work in the office. On our side, we have actually looked into that. Came COVID at that time, we say that it is important for us to envision that in the future, 30 to 40% of our workforce will continue to work from home or from everywhere, right? So because we see it as moving, it's agile, so we need to be moving from one place to another. So the way I see it is that we should continue to prepare ourselves. There are three things that we said we need to prepare. One would be the top down or the bottom up. Which one should we be choosing the way how we run businesses? And we said the future would be more bottom up. What does bottom up means? Bottom up means we have to be on the ground, meeting the customers, meeting the teams. Now, with all these digital transformations, we are saying that we can't be staying in the office or at home. So the way how we have to move forward is really about being on the ground with the people. So that is the way how we need to prepare. Two, we would then say we have to be personalized. So we can't continue to be in the office and thinking that everything will work. So we need to come forward to see our partners, to see our tenants in our malls. Are they doing well? So how personalized it can be. And third, the most important point is being transparent, right? So the question will be, how do we know our staffs are going to work if they are at home or at any place where they are supposed to work? That's where the digital comes in. So in what we are doing right now, we set up our own apps right now, and we are actually bringing that apps to get our teams to use. That means wherever they are, they can just log in and say, this is what they are working on, and this is what they are actually engaging with our suppliers or our customers or our staff. So we have that kind of engagements on daily recording together with them. And likewise for our customers, we are not yet that. We are working on a few solutions where we are able to interact live, and that can also be recorded inside and build and consolidate future AIs. That would be something. Thank you.
Can I ask him something? So how do you do that now? Because everyone is working from home. Do you have the feeling that you have to have more grip on what people are doing? Is that?
Yeah, so that's where the beginning of trust. At the very beginning, you're right, Nina. Those managers who are working from the office would say that, I don't know if they are really doing what they are saying. But I think it's a lot about exemplarity. So myself, I work Monday and Fridays, and I make sure that I do not go to the office on those other days that I'm not supposed to be. And by setting up that example, we do as well, the top leadership, the 8 of us, the Eon Leadership Council, we said, you need to as well do the same thing and do it where we are supposed to be, at home.
Yeah.
So by building that trust, then gradually there is more openness to share. I can't do this because I don't have that system in my home. So we build that and bring it back to the home accordingly, the system that it needs. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay now.
CK? Now, I think from a QSR brand perspective, ever since COVID-19 hit us back March last year, we have formulated what we call the Business Continuity Committee to really drive the risk mitigation of our business and also our brands. Collectively, if I look at QSR brand today, we have recruit close to about 35,000 employees across the 4 markets that we're operating, mainly in Malaysia. That's our largest market. And the part about QSR leadership team, we are a very heart-led business. Heart-led in the sense that whatever business decision we make, we always consider our people, our customer, and things like that. So therefore, in our Business Continuity Committee agenda, high up in our priority is first, our employee safety when it comes to COVID-19. Second one is our customer safety. How do we deliver our pizza, for example, safely to our customer without infecting our customer? Third one is our food safety. That's very high up in our priority as well. So being a heart-led organization, if, for example, I look at what happened in our brand during the peak of COVID-19 last year. Imagine we do have a store team member serving our customer, taking order every day. And in the peak of COVID-19, this employee of ours has got some similar concern as well, just like us. How do I prevent myself? How do I protect myself? How do I take care of my family at the same time? While the market is in the turmoil, people are losing jobs and businesses are closing down. So there's a lot of issues and challenges. And I'm glad that from a business continuity perspective, our committee realized the importance to keep our employees safe so that they can focus on the job and service our customer well. And that was the biggest challenge when it comes to managing the people aspect of our business. And therefore, I'm glad that our HR department has set up a very good process to really take care of our employee, set up an employee counseling hotline just in case any of our restaurant could be in KL, in a remote area like Sabah or whatever. They have someone to call a point when they need counseling, they need help. We even went to the extent of providing counseling assistance and even financial assistance for employee or family member that has been affected. And that's how, being a heart-led company, we really drive a lot of employee safety aspect of the business. And therefore, from the restaurant perspective, we have no choice. Being a retail business, being a quick service business, we still need to have our people full-time running the restaurants. Serving our customer, taking order, cooking in the kitchen and things like that. But what is more important is how do we make sure all the safety procedure protocol are being complied. Things like wearing PPE, proper sanitization of our restaurants and our what we call the food as well. How do we transform our food from a traditional way of delivering into a contactless delivery? For example, we have a lot of conversation early on during the onset of COVID-19 last year. We learned from our principal YAMS, and also we have a media conference call with our counterpart in China. As you know, China, Wuhan is the starter of a place for COVID-19. So there's a lot of learning in China that they have gone through before the COVID-19 hit our shore. And therefore, we learned a great deal about how to do contactless delivery. And in fact, Yum China is the first brand in the world that created the term called contactless delivery. So we actually learn on the best practice that we can get from our Yum system. And we actually put a lot of this effort into delivering a safe pizza and safe fried chicken to our customer. And that's how we evolve. And so with that, in terms of our retail environment, we have no choice, but we still need to make sure we man our restaurants. But we have all the policy and procedure in place to protect our employee, to protect our customer, and to make sure our food is safe for customer as well. And that's the principle have been driving us in terms of managing the people aspect during COVID-19. However, in our term, we call it non-essential staff, support staff in our head office. So people like my IT folks, the finance department and things like that. These are the people that can actually work from home or in the office. At the moment, our management has decided our people continue to work from home, except the essential staff that we need to man the office. Yeah. So apart from that, this committee that we have will regularly review. I guess it all will depends on the national vaccination program, that the government is pushing. So hopefully, when enough population within Malaysia has been vaccinated, then we can be a bit more relaxed in terms of working from home or the on-site kind of stuff. Yeah, and that's where we are. Yeah.
Thanks. Yanina, follow-up question. From that we heard, some practices on how to manage the field on ground resources. From an office associate perspective, the office and being together played a big role in getting people together, build a trust and connection between the associates, collective learning.
Yeah.
How do you see that getting addressed in the current scenario or a future of work when many organizations are planning to be remote or hybrid?
So I do see that there is more need for connection. But that being said, we are all surprised, I think, about how easy it is to connect still via virtual way, because now I have to consciously select a person and talk one-on-one. Yeah, as long as you have your camera on, and the connection is much more trustworthy because there's no one else around eardropping, or you can just speak up loud without the fear of it getting through the whole way. So the hybrid version there would work very well for us. A lot of people prefer working from home. And to be honest, we had the trust issue in the beginning as well. What are people working on? But if we see the results, they're probably more effective and working harder from home than they would working in the office, chit-chatting with everyone, going back and forward from home and back to the office. That time being spent on the work itself is much more productive. The connection is still important. So I do foresee that we'll be hybrid and that we have fixed days in the office, hopefully more social events again. We're still Heineken, right? So we like to drink a beer together. Those things we really miss, of course. But other than that, I think the connection and the trust is actually easier than expected.
We all are hoping for those to come back. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
SS, the e-commerce growth with the pandemic has been unprecedented. It accelerated, the whole e-commerce growth. Very likely that the infrastructure was not ready for it, the way whole planning process worked. How did you adapt to this sudden increase in demand, and what helped you kind of manage?
Yeah, you are absolutely right, Puneet. We are all caught by surprise, and personally for me, it's a wake-up call for our whole organization. Take an example on our infrastructure of technology that we were not even ready to have communications on within different parts of our stores in the past. And with these, we learn from the ground zero. The positive part of learnings here is that we were not waiting. So take an example, customers are coming to shop. They are asking for safety, like what CK has mentioned, right? Because of COVID. How do we bring that across? E-commerce is doing very well. We don't have an e-commerce platform at that time. What are we going to do? So what we have actually leveraged on our assets, customers are coming and we said, let's be personal to them. So we actually changed our job focus, and we said, for those staffs that are actually not functioning because we have different businesses like the apparels, the hardlines, the household products. So those staffs that were doing those kind of job, we asked them to be personally serving the customers. So here we actually see the readiness of the people. While we don't have the readiness of the infrastructure to do e-commerce immediately, so we get to serve the customer. So customers do not have to go and shop inside. They just give the shopping list to us, or even download the shopping list and send it to us. And we will then do the shopping and get them the shopping ready, and they just need to pick it up. Now with that, we moved to the next level and we said, let's do even faster, right? So let's do a drive-through. So that's where we move on to say, okay, We were not ready in the past. Now let's be ready now. So we transform our platform by then and said customers can then go to our website and download these offers. Very simple microsite to say yes, you can order here. You can just pick it up, drive through without even going into our premises. Then we said, what else can we do? That's where we started to engage ourselves with our new technology here, where we start to work on our apps now. So overall, we are looking at definitely it will be neither one or the other. It will definitely be a mix between what we call the offline retail and the new online retail. We in Aeon, we are looking at bigger than just a retail. We would like to see that we can work into the ecosystem, right? So digital itself will continue to stay. We need to continue to build our infrastructure internally first, but really work together with our partners. And I'm very happy to have the panel speaking very openly and enthusiastic to bring forward this digital transformation together. And being Aeon as a mall operator as well, we welcome all these transformation to build together. Thank you.
Yanina,
Yeah.
What robotics and AI solutions do we use in the supply chain, to facilitate and scale faster the growing demand in e-commerce?
Yeah, so our ambition as a company is one of the pillars is digital transformation, as I mentioned, and that is become the best connected brewer worldwide. So it's not just for Malaysia, but it's and we as Malaysia, of course, adopt that. So that means that you have to have robotics and AI, at least experiments going on in the brewery if you want to get there. So in different parts of the world, we do different kind of pilots that has to do with robotics, AI, and that can be on people learning skills, applications while they walk through the brewery, just having smartwatches with the right notification. It can be machines that interrupt the brewing process because they measure a different quality than expected. And it can also just be the basics of packing and filling up, right? It's a big chain going on. So there's a lot happening, yeah. But for us, it's a bit similar as my partner just said. We're focusing also on a unified ecosystem. And for us, it starts with the customer. So in Malaysia, that's the biggest focus we have right now. So we just launched our B2B e-commerce. We have a B2C e-commerce. And there's a Salesforce automation, and that's dripping into the supply chain. So at the end, yeah, best connected brewery, that's where we're running for, yeah.
CK, with the reopening, do you see the consumer pattern changing? Do you see the consumer pattern changing and the e-commerce penetration rolling back as people want to visit the physical shops, and it's varying the whole volume? How do you handle with the sudden changes?
Yeah, I think again that's a very interesting question. I think certainly consumer behavior has changed. Yeah, majority of our customers, in fact, during the peak of COVID, they actually pivoted to, in our term, we call it HMR, home meal replacement. No longer dining in our restaurants. And that's the behavior that we have observed very clearly. And moving forward, some of our customers will continue to take precautions. Yeah, they will prefer to order through online, get the food delivered to their doorstep, and consume food in their their house. Yeah, and apart from that, for the dining segment, in fact, for example, in Pizza Hut, yeah, we have last year implemented what we call the bring your own device QR code ordering, where customer can go into a restaurant, use QR code, contactless. Yeah, without touching our menu, then they can straight away order from their phone. Yeah, a family of 5, for example, mother, father can all order. Then it will go to our kitchen. Then we will prepare and deliver the food for our customer to consume. So this is to really first of all to provide a different customer experience, contactless, yeah, and social distancing. Yeah, and moving forward, at least for 12-24 months to come, we will expect this will continue to stay. But obviously, we need to watch the consumer behavior closely and re-strategize accordingly. But these are the new norms that we are observing, and we are also trying to answer to the customer concern, yeah, to make our brand more contactless and more safe in that context. Yeah. So obviously, that will change the whole paradigm shift when it comes to digital design for our brands. Yeah. So a lot of conversation that we have with our operation team, with our kitchen team, and things like that is all centered around how do we make yeah, our brand safer and better for our customer in that context. Yeah.
Thanks. SS, to what extent digitizing your operations and transformation enabled you to have access to a large amount of new data? And if you can share some examples, how those data enabled you to take some decisions to drive efficiency or.
Yeah. So this is the main thing. In our transformation journey, the blueprint that we have crafted, we call it Eon Strategic Playbook. In this playbook, we actually emphasize that while technology is a paramount important to ensure we are investing correctly, I think more importantly is if we have this technology, what are we going to use it for, right? So data-driven technology is where we say that everybody is talking about data-driven, but how do we use it? So in our side here, we're actually very fortunate, Puneet, because not only that we have physical stores that are already built up, we have a lot of data, transactional data, millions of those transactions data sitting everywhere in our stores. Now, the question is, how are we going to leverage that, right? So what's happening today is that we are, like I said earlier, our focus is tomorrow if we have this capability to consolidate all this data, we don't want just to look it from the top down. That means centrally in head office, in the past we will say, okay, what would be the best categories that should be focused as a total company? So we'll do the 2080. Now, in my opinion, 2080, if we continue to focus on that, we would lose a lot of opportunities on the ground. So for us, data-driven, we are going to look at bottom-up. So all those AI's capabilities, we want to make sure that we can actually use it. Same technology, use the algorithms to really do store by store. And this is something that is our vision, because we know that our teams are working on how to use the data. So if you look at one of the questions asked again about how much are we ready to invest, we are ready to invest not only to be central, but really driving the business on the bottom. And to give you an example, we have tested that. For example, in one of our stores, we have one store in Shah Alam, which is predominantly, we have more than 80% of our customers are Malay customers. In the past, we were looking only from the central, that means from the head office. We were not able to see what are the categories of needs that the Malay communities in those areas actually are looking for. So we are just saying that out of total 60 stores, we have only 10% of it that are focusing on Malay, therefore this is not so important. Let's focus at the 80%. But in the recent case that we have started to work on our data-driven, we have seen that we need to expand those categories. And just this morning, they just shared with me the results. We are growing by 50 to 60% of growth on those categories that we have taken decisions to extend it. So I think the point for us in Eon is that digital transformation means nothing if we can't use the data. The data can be used only with collaborations with our partners, but our teams on the ground, we need to learn to be more entrepreneurial and should not be waiting for decisions in head office to say, you need to focus on this or that. So that is our challenge from now and moving forward, bringing the agility and entrepreneurship on the bottom up instead of.
Thanks. Earlier in the conference, we heard about how digital transformation is helping improve customer experience. CK, do you have any example of how digital technology helped you connect better with the customers and you were able to enhance the experience?
Yeah, certainly. I think in that topic, data is very high in our agenda as well. Yeah. For example, as I mentioned earlier, our leadership of the organization already set a vision. Yeah, let's transition from an analog company to a data company that sells food, and that's really impact the way we do digital design throughout the entire organization. Yeah, right from supply chain to the kitchen to the front counter that we are serving our customer. And if I look at data, it's a very interesting topic. What do we mean by data? Yeah, A role model that I personally look after would be Spotify and Netflix. For Spotify, for example, for many it's a music company, but if you look through the entire the brand Spotify, do they own any artists? No. Do they own any record label? No. Do they own any studio? No. But why are they the largest music brand across group? Yeah, and that's amazing story. Yeah, they created a brand for themselves just using data, connecting their customer, the listener of the music, to the music company, and that's how they link up by matching and marrying genre of music with the customer. They're able to create a brand name for themselves, and that's the power of data. Now, applying the same principle to QSR, how do we capture data and be able to use it the similar way? Yeah, this is where over the last year or two we put a lot of effort in capturing data. For example, we have introduced, like what I mentioned just now, bring your own device QR code ordering. In KFC, we have also last year launched and implemented the self-service kiosk in addition to our e-commerce. Now, traditionally, KFC and Pizza Hut used to be a very analog brand. Yeah, we transact with customer without knowing who is dining in our restaurants. But today, bulk of the customer transact in our customer. We know who they are, we know what they like, and using this data, just like how Netflix or Spotify, we can transform to a different customer experience. Yeah. For example, in the future, we are looking into BYOD. How can we use data? How can you use AI to learn about the customer? Next time, the same customer going back to our restaurant, we will always propose the first in the homepage, their favorite pizza and their favorite pasta, for example, rather than like showing a generic menu, expect them to know, go through the trees or menu to pick what they want. So that is to really improve the customer experience, and basically data will play a major role in helping us in this aspect.
Yanina, as CK said, it's a data company serving food. The digital technology and transformation is disrupting the traditional industries as well gradually. What's your thought on workforce strategy and talent strategy? How do you see it changing, and what are your plans?
You're talking about getting the right people in the right place, right? Yeah, it's a challenge. I recognize that. So our strategy is also to do more sharing and caring. Yeah? So we see that, especially on the digital transformation, if you look within our corporate, every OpCo has a bit the same challenges. So we're checking now with how can we make the fundamentals at least the same, so that not every OpCo has to invent the wheel themselves, and therefore also don't need all those capabilities and talents on the same place. That's one thing. Another thing we did is actually creating a playbook where we all have our same job profiles defined globally, which we're now implementing with a new digital and technology transformation organization, which means that my people in Malaysia have a certain job profile and experience, and it's the same in the other parts of the world. So it's a transparent HR system we're creating with a different reward system behind it as well. That's a way for us to try to be more attractive as an employer. It's not just, you're not just in Malaysia, you can go anywhere. And also to skill up the right skills at the right time. So with the fundamentals at certain places in the organization, we're also able to go to a country where the talents are, for example. You were talking about Edinburgh. For us, it's we're doing stuff in Poland, India, of course. So that helps that I don't need to hire 30 data scientists myself. I can actually lean on APAC there.
Thanks. Let me cover one of the audience questions. SS, there's a lot of negativity that people foresee due to COVID-19 pandemic. What are some of the positives and opportunities that you see, you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that also leads to the questions about initiatives, whether we have initiatives in Aeon in focusing on startups and so on. So my answer to that, Puneet, would be because of COVID, we have actually looked ourselves as a much smaller company than before. In the past, we thought that Aeon is, we are here to support everyone, we are here to give the best to everyone. But in fact, it's the reverse. We have to learn more from everyone. So what we have actually done in particular is to actually built a what we call our Engine 2.0. So we have a business unit called Engine 2.0 for Shaj Rajapan, who asked that question. Yes, we do have that. We have this business unit 2.0, and here it's where it's focusing on all new business and startups. And this is something good because of COVID, we realized that we need to build that. So very recently, we have actually worked with a celebrity whose name is Alif Sattar. He came up with the idea to start up his business, right? So he said, I have a recipe I wanna do, but I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to invest it, and so on. So I said, let's do it together, right? So we actually get his recipe, we create and develop that together in our processing center, which is centralized, get it right with him. He agrees with that, and we said, let's deploy it to 60 locations in Malaysia. And then I said, now Alif, is your turn. Communicate to Malaysia that this is yours and buy. So what happened is that in the last 1.5 months, we have sold 100,000 packets. Now, the best thing is Alif did not have to invest anything. That's where we feel that it's more meaningful to us in Aeon. And that's where we call it celebrity kitchen, or in a way, we're going to put it as Dapo Celebrity. So that is an example of the startup and something good that we have actually come up with since COVID.
Thanks. Another question from audience, and Yanina, maybe you touched this topic, is on human capital with the change. How do you manage human capital? So the question is, do you continue to monitor them because they are not in office, or do you trust them and treat them like partners and measure them on something else?
For me, a big part of the transformation is actually the cultural change, right? The agile mindset, what comes with openness, trust, giving mandate and ownership to the people that are actually doing the work. And with that comes a lot of recognition. I truly believe if you give people the mandate and the ownership and the acknowledgement for the achievements, that's actually the best joyful way to go to work every day, the best motivation. So that's a big part of the program actually. And I do it with passion. It's really in my heart. So for me, it's not about technology or going to certain trainings because your functional knowledge. It's really about how can a specific person grow in his own area and understand where his strengths are. For me, you don't need to be strong in everything. You can be strong in specific parts, but let's touch that part and grow on that. That's very important. Human capital, it's really about the human and not the capital. Yeah.
CK, with Malaysia plans to introducing 5G, and 5G is being touted as one of the biggest disruptive themes in the coming years, with extra high internet speed, low latency. How do you see this, supporting the retail sector?
I will use one word, transformational. Yeah. For example, again, two years ago when I was had the privilege to visit the Huawei Innovation Center in Shenzhen, China. So for me, that was an eye-opener. Yeah, how Huawei drive the 5G market, how they innovate, how they bring a lot of the innovation to different what I call verticals. Yeah. So in the innovation center, they have got a retail showroom there. They showcase all the 5G technology in their innovation center. So that was really a mind-boggling, mind-opening kind of a visit for me. But in the context of QSR, I would say very resonate well with me and my brands would be two things. Yeah. First one is what we call the connected restaurant strategy. Yeah. Obviously, today, QSR brand, we are managing more than 1,100 plus restaurants across the country. And with that, connectivity become a very key to our foundation of digitalization. Yeah. For example, today our store are connected through our cloud, yeah, through the current service provider, yeah, using a fiber optic or twisted pair wire, where we can maximum go up to 10 megabit per second through and flow. But looking at 5G, is transformative in the sense that it will be a gigabyte network rather than megabyte. And certainly that will bring a whole lot of innovation in terms of the digital acceleration. For example, yeah, using big data in the cloud, let it be easily accessible in the restaurant so that we can transform data to a lot of application using our cloud base. Yeah. From my perspective, the key difference between 3G, 4G, and 5G is two things. First is their latency of the network, which all the provider is committing less than 10 millisecond to and fro. The second one is their network, what I call the bandwidth. Yeah, we're talking about gigabyte moving forward. So I think that really opened up a different perspective of innovation in our connected restaurant strategy. Yeah, in our digital restaurant ecosystem. Yeah, we have our point of sales, we have the kitchen system, we do have our supply chain system at the back of the house. We do have a delivery management system that we need to track our rider delivering foods to our customer. We do have connection to our e-commerce platform. So the entire digital ecosystem live with the connectivity as a key foundation. Yeah. So moving into 5G, that will open up a host of what I call possibility moving forward, and that's why I call it transformative. The second one is our storefront, our e-commerce. Every time when we work with our media agency to design our e-commerce content, for example, to showcase some finger linking goodness or our yummy pizza on the menu, we always limited by one bandwidth issue, which is the bandwidth. Yeah, when customer launch our app, look at our pizza, we are committed to 3-second loading time of the content. Anything more than 3 seconds, customer will throw away the app and then that's it, move on. Yeah, so I think this is very key to our design. But with the limited bandwidth, we are limited by all this the innovation. Yeah, but moving into 5G, imagine our customer, yeah, all surfing the net or connecting to our app using 5G gigabits. They can look at a lot more rich content now. Yeah, instead of showing a fixed photo of our pizza, we can show a video of our pizza with all the steamy hot smoke coming up from the pizza. That will present our product in a very different manner to our customer and entice them to buy. Yeah, so I think these are the possibilities that 5G can really bring to our retail segments. Yeah.
Thanks. Another emerging technology making news is blockchain. There are multiple use cases being speculated. I want to hear your thoughts, SS. How do you see it playing a role in the retail sector?
Well, blockchain or these new technologies that we have all heard, more tokenization and so on, I believe there's a lot of gaps between the reality on how we actually leverage on those technologies. And I think CK explained it very well earlier. It's all about making sure that everyone is moving together, right? It is not one moving far ahead and the rest of the community and the whole country is just waiting. Where am I? Am I going to be flying with drones and so on? But how are we going to use those technologies? So in my opinion, a couple of years ago, we have actually discussed a lot on these blockchain and how do we build transparency with the halal market, right? I think everyone talks about that, you know. And I talked to several big Muslim countries in the world, and everyone wants to do that. But the question is, how do we do that? So I believe very much that we need to start from the base, right? So for example, what is the difference between the halal in Malaysia as compared to other countries? Even the non-Muslims are asking, why you can't take this and you have to always take from this country? So I think that calls for unity among the whole of these organizations. And then we can start to use the blockchain, right? So I believe very much that this blockchain is here for everyone to use, everybody to really collaborate and use. And personally, in Eon, we are looking at one of our 10-year plan is to really work on this blockchain and work with government agencies between different countries. We are coming from Japan. We have a lot of abilities in Japan to connect with Malaysia in terms of blockchain. And we hope that one day, that not so long after, we hope that perhaps this year, we could have some conversations with the government agencies to really work on the blockchain, halal blockchain. Thank you.
Thanks, that's an interesting perspective. CK, you have any thoughts on this?
I would very much align to Mr. Shafi's point of view as well. I think from a retail aspect, yeah.
Digital sustainability is another theme that is coming, which is using digital transformation to drive the global sustainability goals, right? And and retail is a bit complex sector, to kind of deploy this. What are your early thoughts? Are you doing something on this one? Do you have any plans, thoughts? CK?
I think from, again, quick service restaurant segment of the retail, achieving global sustainability is our obligation. We take that very seriously as well. There are also a couple of initiatives that we are taking to really make ourselves a lot more what I call friendly to our environments. Like for example, KFC, we have in the past rolled out a cooking oil recycling process, to convert cooking oil, use cooking oil into biodiesel. But on the digital front, we are taking some initiative as well. Like for example, today my digital team is working with our restaurant operation folks in implementing a cloud-based IoT solution that can optimize using our data platform in terms of the procurement and in terms of the projection in the kitchen. In our business, we center around our business in two critical windows: lunch and dinner, and that's where customer will coming to our store, placing order, and that's where projection is very critical in terms of making sure we cook and prepare the right number of product to meet the demands. Any overcook, for example, let's say French fry or whatever, if we cook it and we couldn't sell it within the next half an hour or so, guess what? It will be turned into a waste. And therefore, it is our obligation to really how to use digital to improve our operation efficiency at the same time reducing waste. So we are using now our data platform. We are building a AI application to really help to improve the kitchen projection. So eventually, small little thing that we do through digital, but in the longer run, it will translate to our contribution to the environment, sustainability, and hopefully more and more we do this. Maybe not immediately. In the longer term, we can be a net a positive and come to sustainability, and that's where I see digital play a role in that aspect. SS, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, for us, we look at this sustainability in three forms. One, people, sustainable people. Two, planet, and three, peace. Now we look at it very much differently after COVID. In the past, we do have that. We do plant trees. In Malaysia, we have already planted more than 20,000 trees in the last couple of years. But we do not really connect with our people. That means whether it's our Aeon staff or Aeon people or our customers now. Today, when I interview young talents, and the questions that I was expecting, what is your strategy? What are your investment plans? But the question they're asking, what are your sustainable plans, right? And if I ask most of the people coming from the different generations, they won't ask me these questions. But those guys who are 30 years and below, and they love this. So to answer to your point, I think sustainability has to be really meaningful, not only to put it on paper. So normally we put that at the end. I'm talking about myself. We put it at the end of the journey. Whatever left in profitability, let's do a CSR or sustainable. But now we have put it in the middle, the core of our purpose. So that is a very important aspect. And then we are asking, how do we then leverage on digital? So for example, we have actually looked at a platform that is similar to perhaps the Food Pandas of the world or GrabFood. And we came out with, when we started to ask questions to everyone and said, for those F&B, the food and beverage retailers who are selling food, they have to pay quite a big amount, right, for every transaction to do delivery. So we asked ourselves, how can we do better for the employees, for the customers, for the sustainable existence of these entrepreneurs? So we came out with this, what we call Aeon Makan, where we are able to provide that platform almost for free. And this is where we try to make the difference, and we even give as well the employment. So it's a new employment. So that's part of people, and that's part about how do we continue sustaining the businesses for the small entrepreneurs.
Thank you. Last question, Yanina. What is your message to our audience who are looking to drive digital transformation in their organization?
what would you suggest them to start with and focus on?
Make sure it's always business savvy. So don't do technology for technology. See it as a pilot. So start small, think big, start small, have a dream and go to that one. And their digital can help. And it does need to be perfect. So 70% is probably already your business case. Don't make it too complex, just do it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all of you. I think there was a wealth of experience and some great insights, that the audience could use it. I'll hand over to Dan. So thank you very much for tuning in and take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, we hope you've enjoyed the industry panel as much as we did. It was nice to see so many big companies talk about their digital transformation journey, and I hope that it was engaging, and I hope that we can all learn from them. So thank you, Shafi'i, Yanina, CK, and Punit for such a great discussion, and we are so honored to have you. All right, so for all of you guys watching me and watching this, thank you so much for staying with us till the end of this morning's session of Smart Retail Live Virtual Conference. And as I've mentioned earlier, we are giving away 3 cool gadgets at each of the 4 sessions of the event. All you need to do is complete the short survey by scanning the QR code down here. This is shown on your screen, or go to bit.ly/smartretailsurvey3, and you can stand a chance to win any of these prizes. All right, so guys, the Smart Retail Conference is almost coming to an end, but we do have a grand finale, the closing session later this afternoon. We will be covering e-commerce and digital marketing. Our Terabyte partner, Bright Cove, will be sharing with us 5 steps to be successful in e-commerce. Then our Terabyte partner, Ada, will be enlightening us with the new breed of post-2020 customers and their online and offline behavior. We will end the conference with a powerful closing panel discussion to be moderated by Asia School of Business. And the panel will be joined by another lineup of great speakers from Ada, the food purveyor, Malaysian Retail Chain Association, as well as the Malaysian Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs. I hope you're as excited as the grand finale as I am. And if you want to learn more about it or more about the speakers, you can scan the QR code that is located at the top right of your screen, or go to bit.ly/smartretailagenda. Please also share the Smart Retail event program with your colleagues and friends. And if you need any assistance from us, please do email us at events@thestar.com.my. I'm signing out, but this page will remain live in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Remember to complete the short survey and stand a chance to win one of the 3 prizes. thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again at the grand finale later this afternoon at 2 p.m. Enjoy lunch.
Always have a support structure that you can rely on, having people that can always deliver, and at the very least, those that can show progress on a daily basis.
Kita adalah brand holder. Kita kena yakin dengan brand kita. So sebelum kita nak meyakinkan orang dengan brand kita, kita kena yakinkan diri kita dahulu. So macam mana? Ilmu, knowledge. Pergi belajar. Tak belajar, tak tahu. Saya buka syarikat saya sendiri sebab masa itu saya yakin masyarakat tak boleh bergerak tanpa motivasi.
புதுசா வித்தியாசமா நீங்க யோசிச்சு ஒரு மார்க்கெட்ல டிமாண்டா இருக்கிற ப்ராடக்ட் நீங்க கொண்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா பயணியராகவும் ஆகலாம். அதே சமயத்துல மக்கள் திருப்பி வந்து உங்கள்கிட்ட வாங்கிட்டு இருப்பாங்க.
把你的生意放上网络平台，我朋友是做网络卖衣服的生意，他的生意是不断的在增长。我起步的时候是跟去银行贷款，所以他说我的规模也是太小，所以他是不接受我的贷款。 有一天我上网寻找贷款，然后过后就找到 IMSME， 过后我就 click 进去申请表格。第二天 CGC 的有一个顾问打来跟我说，你可以尝试用 P2P 的平台，过后就成功。
The great thing about this whole CGC ISME program is that it's no collateral and you can go for as little as 1,000 ringgit to as much as 5 million. I went online and went to the page, registered, logged in, and just keyed in my details. And from there, within a matter of days, things were already set in motion. So it's really that straightforward and that simple. I was able to get it within a matter of weeks. I think everyone can too.
IMSME ஃபண்ட் வந்து நாங்கள் வந்து அப்ளை பண்ணியிருந்தோம், எங்களுக்கு கிடைச்சிச்சு. அது மூலிமா எங்கள் பிஸ்னஸையும் வந்து எக்ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணோம். 10% வந்து இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணோம் எங்கள் சேல்ஸை. இது மூலிமா IMSME ஃபண்ட் வந்து ரொம்ப உதவியாக இருந்துச்சு எங்களுக்கு.
Sebenarnya dalam business, fun is everything. You have fun, you can go bigger. You don't have fun, you cannot go anywhere. CGC banyak membantu saya untuk saya go and move further sebenarnya. Dan at the end, saya dah ada branch baru dekat Alus dah. Selepas saya dapat dana dari CGC. I have no fun problem at all. Jadi dengan IMSME, memang banyak sangat ubah hidup saya dan banyak membantu mengembangkan bisnes saya.
感谢 IMSME 帮我的生意更上一层楼。